Opinion, I think that a lot of Africans feel that buying properties in the West is a waste of financial resources. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Canada Evolve channel. My name is Wolo. I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant based in New Brunswick, Canada. I used to be a Manitoban, still a Manitoban, love Manitoba. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe and give me the thumbs up whenever I upload a video concerning immigrating to Canada and life in Canada. You'll be the first to know. To my old subscribers, thank you so much for being on this channel and for engaging in the comments section. I know that the thumbnail on this video is actually going to cause a lot of comments. And this is as a result of the comments that was left on my video, the video I did about selling our property at a loss. And I felt that I should bring that topic and expand on it, why some people think it is not a good idea to buy a property in the West. And when I talk about the West, I'm talking about countries like USA, Canada, UK, Australia, and all of that. And I think that a lot of Africans feel that buying properties in the West is a waste of financial resources, while some other people do not agree to that. And I just felt, okay, what could be the reasons why people are thinking that buying a property in a place like Canada is not a good financial decision? And I'm going to give you 10 reasons why buying a property in a place like Canada is not a good financial decision. Please don't get me wrong. This is not my opinion. I'm just giving you 10 reasons why people think that buying a property or buying a house in Canada is a waste of financial resources. Number one reason is the high property prices. Now, compared to the US, you could see some houses in Texas that are so big and gigantic and very beautiful. And if you compare the prices of those houses in Texas, versus the houses in Canada, you will be asking yourself, why should you be spending 1 million Canadian dollars for a mushroom for a tiny space when you can get the value in the US? So, I mean, that is one reason. The pricing is just crazy, especially for places like Ontario and British Columbia, where the prices are crazy. But if you come down to the places that are cold, like my sweet Manitoba, my sweet New Brunswick, you know, places like this, the prices are quite fair. You will get value for your money for any house you want to buy. You could get a $500,000, $600,000 house in a good place and sizable enough. And I keep wondering, like, the land mass in Canada is so massive. What are they hiding the land for? Like, why are they, economizing? That's the right word to use. Why are they economizing the land? You know, the land is massive. Give people land and let them build houses. And I don't know why the prices are high, but they will say because of lumber. The cost of lumber is high. Lumber is wood, if you don't know. So that's number one reason. Number two reason is high interest rates and mortgage fluctuations. You know, I gave my story where I said because I was on variable rate, and at the time variable rate was just actually increasing, and it was increasing the price of mortgage I was paying. You know, this is one major reason why a lot of people will not want to buy a property. But that is not a reason, because you also have the fixed rate. So in Canada, you have a fixed rate. You buy a property and the interest rate is on a fixed rate for a 5-year term. You pay the same amount of money for 5 years. For those of us who like to take risk, we took risk, and instead of me putting it on fixed rate, I put it on variable rate, because at the time variable rate was actually lower than fixed rates, and that was what a lot of people went for. But by the time inflation started hitting and the prices of things started going up, for those of us who were on variable rate, we were paying much more, a higher price on our mortgage, and it kept increasing and increasing and increasing until now that they started cutting it. So because of the fluctuation in rates, it's a discouraging factor to buy a property in Canada. So that's number two reason. Number three reason is the additional cost of owning a home. Not everybody talks about the additional cost of owning a property in Canada, where you have to pay insurance, you have to pay property taxes, fees. If you're buying a condo, you pay condo fees or homeowners association fees. You know, the extra cost that goes into owning a property, not everybody actually talks about it, which makes the pricing so high at the end of the day. Number four reason is decreased mobility. And of course, yeah, decreased mobility, I agree to that, because the moment you buy a house, you're stuck in that house. And I mentioned it in my last video where I said that because we were to move, we had to sell the property at a loss. So when you buy a house, you are stuck in that house for some time, except you want to use it as an investment property and rent out, right? If you're not going to use it as an investment property to rent it out, that means you have to stay in the house for a long period of time, for 5 years or 6 years, to build enough equity. Which means if you see an opportunity, if you see a job opportunity where they will pay you like $500,000, maybe somewhere in Ontario, and you're somewhere in Manitoba, and you just bought a house today, if you sell that property, you will sell it at a loss, because the appreciation rate is quite slow in places like Manitoba compared to Ontario. Although the appreciation rate for properties in Ontario started nosediving recently, because of the government measures that they are putting in place concerning properties, but then it decreases your mobility. You can't just move. So now that we are renting, we can move, like, especially if you know you're going to live a nomadic life like us. If you're going to be moving from one place to another every 1 year, every 2 years, then it is better not to buy. Or if you know you want to buy, you just know that you have to buy and then put it out for rent after you leave. Then you build small equity before you sell. So that's one of the reasons that discourages people from actually buying a property in Canada. Number 5 is market volatility. Now, when it comes to market volatility, those who are living in Ontario and BC can actually testify to this, because there was a time when property prices were just going off the roof. You see bidding wars. Somebody will say, I want to buy this property for 1 million. Another person will come and say, I am Yodogu. I have $5 million. I'm going to buy this property with $5 million. And you take your 1 million away. Anyway, at that time, it was appreciating and there were bidding wars. But at some point, the prices started going down. So you could buy a property for $500,000 today, and tomorrow that property is worth $300,000. Except old neighborhoods that have really maintained their name. There are some neighborhoods that they've maintained their name such that if you buy into those neighborhoods, the value remains, right? But there are some neighborhoods that have been watered down such that if you buy into those neighborhoods, the value will keep dropping and dropping and dropping. So if you buy a $500,000 property today, and unfortunately that neighborhood now start having issues, it means that there's a possibility you might sell that property at a loss because of market volatility. The price of what you bought that property will not increase, it will not appreciate. So there are variables like that. Today the pricing is going up, tomorrow is coming down. So I mean, all these inconsistencies discourages someone from actually buying a property or investing in a property in Canada. When it comes to us who are from Africa, we have this mindset that if you buy a property in Nigeria, I mean, you've paid it off once and for all. You buy a land, you build your house. I mean, it's your own. You're not paying any mortgage. You're not paying small. Although there are people who do mortgage in Nigeria, but it's not as popular as the western part of the world where you do mortgage. You hardly see people who buy the properties once and for all. It's only Africans that do that. So I mean, this idea of having to part away with your money every month, it gets tiring at some point in time. That's why sometimes people who buy properties that are above their income level become house poor. They have an expensive house, but they don't have enough money in their pocket. They become house poor. Having this long-term financial commitment of paying a mortgage could be very, very frustrating. So a lot of people just say it doesn't make any sense. Tying yourself down for the next 25 years trying to pay a mortgage every month or paying a mortgage bi-weekly because you want to pay property off. And at the end of the day, you're even paying twice or 3 times because the mortgage amount is not what you're just paying. You're also paying interest on the mortgage. So by the time you calculate how much you pay in interest and your own mortgage, you could see that you've paid double the amount. Although there are options of actually paying off the mortgage at an earlier time, but some people don't see it that way. I think that people who pay off are mostly Africans. Like sometimes we just get that I want to pay this thing off and let me breathe, But Europeans, other people, Caucasians, they don't see it that way. They see it as a way of leveraging their risk and paying their mortgage in bits and pieces. But for those of us who are from Africa, we don't like owing, and we see this mortgage thing as a trap, kind of. So I mean, if you fall into my group of people, I don't like this long-term mortgage. I wish it was a short-term, and then you pay off. If you have the money, you pay off. That's my own principle. Like, if you have the money, pay off your mortgage. I mean, why are you waiting for 25 years to pay off your mortgage? So that's another reason why people are discouraging people from buying a property in Canada. Another reason why people get discouraged from buying a property in Canada is property taxes. Like, property taxes can be very crazy, like very, very crazy. You could see a very small space like this, and you'll be paying property tax of as much as $5,000, $10,000, and you're just asking yourself, so what is the property tax? What am I paying this property tax for? Yeah, so now your property taxes goes into actually maintaining certain infrastructure that you use for free. And I'm going to give you an example. So you see the school where your child is going to for free and it's not paying any tuition fee. Maybe your child is just paying $30 or $40 tuition fee. Your property taxes is the one funding the building of the school, the maintenance of the school, and the paying of the teachers. That's one aspect of where the money is gotten from the property taxes fund. And the roads, I mean, the hospitals, a lot of all these things, they are funded by the monies collected from property taxes. And we Africans, we like to have our money in our pockets because we are coming from a situation where our government in Africa, they are not using our taxes appropriately. So I mean, we can dodge all these things. You get what I mean now. So so when we come here, we are now paying property taxes. It's biting it's biting us for paying property taxes, when we know that if I'm in my homeland, no any government that comes to me, I can always shout and say, please don't disturb my life. Okay, so that's one reason, and I think I'm going to lump up the remaining three reasons so that this video is not too long. So for the remaining three reasons why people are discouraging others from buying properties in Canada, you have renovation and maintenance costs. That one is there. Regulations, government regulations concerning your property. I'm going to expand on that. And then some unforeseen circumstances like disasters and all of that. These are the three last reasons. So now when it comes to maintenance, of course, while you're saving money, you also be saving money for when your roof will puncture or when your pipe will get burst. You have to maintain those things, and maintaining your property in Canada is not cheap. It's not cheap at all, because if, for instance, your house gets flooded, it reduces the value of your house. If you don't know, if your house gets flooded, the value of your house automatically reduces at the time you want to sell it. So you have to be careful that your house does not get flooded. Then another reason is regulatory requirements. So you might think that, okay, you've bought a property, you own the property, you can do whatever you like with your property. It is not true. If you buy a property and you even want to let's say you buy a property that has a basement, the basement is not completed, you want to complete the basement and rent it out. Maybe you think, oh, you rent the basement out, it will be generating income from you. My dear, you still have to go and meet the government to come and inspect what you are doing with your basement, because if you do it illegally and they know, you'll be fined. So you have all these regulations that are restrictive, kind of. Another instance is you buy a property in a neighborhood and your intention is actually to use the property for Airbnb or something like that. Meanwhile, your neighborhood, they have a bylaw that says you cannot use any property bought in that axis cannot be used for Airbnb. It means you are stuck. It means you are stuck with that property. You cannot use it for Airbnb. You have to rent it out. Sometimes you think you own your property. At the end of the day, you don't own it. Let me give an example for a condo. For those who say, okay, they want to buy a condo. You buy a condo, you have a condo management that will be managing your condo for you. They are even worse than landlords. They'll be sending you emails. Oh, who is this person that parked in this place? Who is this person that poured water here? Who is this person that you cannot? So let me give an example. One of my friends, she rented a condo, and then on the door of her flat, the door of her own flat, she now put one of these stickers, NSPPD stickers. Somebody saw the sticker and reported to the condo management, and the condo management told her to take off the sticker. Meanwhile, when they are celebrating Halloween and celebrating whatever they want to celebrate, they can put all sorts on their door. But you put a sticker, they will report you. So at the end of the day, you don't even own your house. So these are the issues where people say, don't bother buying a property. If I'm in Africa, I can put 500 stickers on my door. It's not anybody's business, It's nobody's business. I can do whatever I like with my property. These are the issues about buying the property in the West. I don't think everybody knows that these reasons exist. It's when you buy, that is when you start seeing reasons. When you buy and you want to do something, that's when they say, oh, there's a law around this. And you're like, I didn't know that there is a law. Okay, I will not do this one. You want to do this one, they will say there's a law around it. You're like, okay. So if they are restricting you from your own property, what's the purpose of buying the property in the first place? Those are the reasons. They are not my reasons anyway, but I just said I should kind of, highlight why people are discouraging others, especially Africans, discourage other Africans from buying properties abroad. Instead, we should send the money back home. I felt that I should bring on this video to educate people that there are some people who are opposed to buying properties, and these are the reasons why they are opposing buying properties in Canada. I hope you've learned one or two things from this video. Before I go, are you for buying a property or you are against buying a property? Please, I would like to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye bye.